Is there really such a thing as a wrong choice when it comes to buying a brand new car? Well, that depends on how you look at it. But the straight answer is yes, you can absolutely make a wrong choice if you don't do your homework, and that's how you end up with buying an inferior product. A dud, if you will. What do I mean by inferior? So many things. An outdated platform, subpar build quality, obsolete tech, poor safety record, mediocre driving dynamics, poor styling, to name a few. And for all you EV shoppers out there, it can also mean not enough range. If all that sounds complicated, you'll be happy to hear that we've done the research for you and have put together a top 10 list of the new cars, trucks, and SUVs you'd be wise to avoid buying this year. Look, just stay away from these cars. There are lots of superior choices out there, and you deserve better, don't you? Okay, let's dive right into it. Number 10, Nissan Titan. Named after the Titans of Greek mythology, Nissan's full-size pickup truck for the US market is a beast, and we certainly don't mean any disrespect by strapping it on our list. However, let's consider the alternatives. Instead of a Nissan Titan, you, the typical pickup customer in the US, will always look at the Ford F-Series first before maybe considering the Chevrolet Silverado or the Ram pickup. This is the holy trinity as far as trucks are concerned. Then you've got the GMC Sierra and the Toyota Tundra, which is a bit of a dark horse but still ranks higher than the Titan in terms of sales and is superior by most relevant industry metrics. The Titan is less popular, offers fewer configuration options, and also trails behind most of its rivals when it comes to onboard tech. So what can Nissan do? Well, they could hurry up and build an all-electric Titan to fight off the likes of the Ford F-150 Lightning, Silverado EV, and Ram 1500 REV. If Nissan can pull that off before Toyota comes up with a battery electric Tundra, then there's still hope for the Titan to live up to its name and maybe even leapfrog its Japanese rival. Number 9, Volkswagen Taos. This one will set you back a little over $24,000. Right off the bat, this is the type of vehicle that makes perfect sense in South American or European markets. In North America though, if you want a small or subcompact crossover, why would you even consider a Taos when the larger, safer, and better built Tiguan only costs an extra $2,000. The Taos isn't a terrible choice or anything, but it's rather difficult, if not impossible, to justify from a customer's standpoint. Volkswagen wanted to market the Taos to people who would otherwise buy a regular Golf, which you can't get anymore in the US. Unfortunately, the Tiguan simply casts too great of a shadow. Number 8, Cadillac XT5. The Cadillac XT5 is a premium compact crossover positioned between the XT4 and XT6. Don't you just love straightforward naming that makes sense? Here's the problem though. This thing costs upwards of $45,000 and it looks like a bloated third generation CTS. The XT5 first went into production back in 2016 and it's yet to undergo any meaningful changes. It's been updated here and there, but the exterior still features an outdated design language, its available onboard tech is unimpressive, and man, that price tag should be an instant turn-off to anyone who's even remotely interested in this type of vehicle. I mean, think about it. A 2024 Mercedes GLC won't set you back a lot more than the XT5, and neither will the BMW X3, but both will outshine the Caddy all day, every day. And let's not forget that you can get a Tesla Model Y for around $47,000 if you'd rather go for something fully electric. Number 7, Jaguar I-Pace. You're probably thinking, what on earth is the Jaguar I-Pace doing on this list? Like most people, you may think the I-Pace possesses excellent dynamic capabilities, solid tech features, powerful motors, and futuristic looks. Thing is, once you've taken off those rose-tinted glasses and see the I-Pace for what it really is, well, it becomes an overpriced, not so practical, and overly quirky alternative to the likes of the 2024 Audi Q8 e-tron or the 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE SUV. In terms of architecture and available onboard technology, both German models are superior to the Jag and only slightly more expensive. The I-Pace is priced from $72,000 and besides driving dynamics, it doesn't really excel at anything. Then there is the issue of range, which is, you know, kind of important when it comes to EVs. The fact of the matter is, you're much more likely to travel longer distances on a single charge in an I-Pace equivalent than an actual I-Pace. Simple as that, so let's move on. Number 6. Mercedes EQB. There's no easy way to say this, I'm so sorry, but despite how practical the EQB may be for its size, there is no way that an SUV with such bland looks should cost anywhere near its starting MSRP of $52,000. Is it me, or is this the most awkward looking Mercedes-Benz of all time?
Oh, it's cool.
Damn! At the very least, it's right up there with the first generation A-Class. Anyway, unlike some alternatives you get at this price point, the EQB doesn't drive all that great from an enjoyment standpoint, and the interior quality is a little sus in certain areas. I'm looking at you, hard plastics. Instead of the EQB, you could simply look at a more reasonably priced, faster, and better looking Tesla Model Y. You'd be almost crazy not to. Other good options include the Audi Q4 e-tron, Cadillac Lyriq, and even the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Just don't give Mercedes the satisfaction by ordering an EQB or a GLB for that matter. Maybe if we all pull together, do our part, and ignore them long enough, they'll go away. Number 5. Mitsubishi Mirage. Hey Mitsubishi, why do you even bother with a Mirage anymore? I mean, when's the last time somebody walked into one of your showrooms and said, "Hey you got something with a competitive turning radius?" That is genuinely a feature that Mitsubishi will promote for the Mirage on their official US website. They use terms like class-leading fuel economy, reliable and affordable, plus this nonsense about turning radius. Who even cares? I know I don't, and I'm pretty sure you don't either. Anyway, after several upgrades throughout its life cycle, deep down the Mirage is still a 10-year-old car in terms of engineering and build quality, which in turn raises several safety concerns. You can't have the latest onboard safety tech in a car that only costs 16 grand, and while this may be true for most, if not all, subcompact vehicles, some of those would have been designed over a decade ago with emerging markets in mind. What are your choices at this price range? Unfortunately, not many. Look at it this way though, you wouldn't buy the absolute cheapest smartphone or smart TV, so you also shouldn't buy the absolute cheapest car either. The sensible thing to do would be to ignore products like the Mitsubishi Mirage and expand your budget just a little bit. Once you've hit the 20,000 mark, that's where you'll find safer and considerably more modern alternatives. Number 4. LEXUS RZ 450e. Why? Oh, why would anyone spend 60 grand on a rebadged Toyota BZ4X when you can get the original for roughly 20,000 less? It's because of that yoke, isn't it? You like the RZ's yoke, don't you? Fine, I'll admit, the yoke is kinda cool, but I'm afraid there's not much else to like about this slightly awkward looking EV. Let's start with the price. Do you have any idea how much a 2023 LEXUS RZ 450e will set you back if you go for the luxury specification? A whopping $65,150, which is just too much money for what is barely even a compact size crossover. It's cheaper to just get a Cadillac Lyriq, which is larger and will cover a lot more ground on a single charge. Oh, and don't even get me started on the Tesla Model Y, which frankly will blow this Lexus out of the water. In fact, I'll tell you what, if you wind up parking one of these things in your driveway, your friends should go ahead and assume that you've been kidnapped and forced to buy the car under duress. On the other hand, if one was made available to you, say, as a company car, it would be a much easier pill to swallow, But with your own money, just go for a Tesla, a Caddy, or just about anything with a German badge on it that's not a Mercedes EQB. Number 3. Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. This year's the Outlander Sport. Let me break it down to you. For the $22,995 it would cost to purchase a 2023 Outlander Sport, you get a car that was engineered way back during Barack Obama's first presidential term. Yes, an assortment of facelifts followed throughout the years, but deep down you still end up with a car that has really outstayed its welcome. I mean, look up the word outdated in the dictionary and an image of the Outlander Sport pops up. Okay, that last part isn't true, but it might as well be. Here's a quick list of crossovers you should consider with a budget of $23,000. If you absolutely must have a Mitsubishi, just go for the larger Outlander plug-in hybrid, because sadly there's really nothing else worth considering from the 2023 US lineup. Number 2. Mazda MX-30. Nice one, Mazda. I mean, here's a company that expects you to spend upwards of $34,000 on an EV that'll only travel roughly 100 miles on a full charge. Wow. This thing has a 35.5 kilowatt-hour battery and it's pretty much a joke. And to make matters worse, you can only get the MX-30 in the state of California. Maybe that's for the best. Let's quarantine it there and keep it from spreading to other parts of the country like a virus.
Terrific. So you're saying I should worry?
Seriously now. Soon, we'll have plug-in hybrids able to top 100 miles in electric-only mode, so this thing makes no sense. It's obvious to me that Mazda wanted to dip its feet in the EV pool ever so slightly, instead of just cannonballing straight into the deep end. That shows a lack of commitment, not to mention a lack of talent, as far as battery electric models are concerned. Anyway, there isn't much else to say about the MX-30. The range is ridiculously low, and you end up basically paying $34,000 just so Tesla drivers can laugh at you behind your back. Number 1. 2022 Buick Encore. The fact that Buick is still selling this car is beyond baffling, especially given the second generation 2023 Encore, aka the Encore GX, is also for sale, with a smaller MSRP for crying out loud. What's that? You want to know what's wrong with the 2022 Encore? Oh, let's see. Size? It doesn't have any. Build quality? Poor. Driving dynamics? None. Looks? The kind only a mother could love. The 2022 Buick Encore reminds me of the Seinfeld episode when they get invited to the Hamptons to see the baby, which turns out to be objectionable, as Jerry puts it.
Isn't he gorgeous?
Well, so is the first gen Encore. In the end, there are several good reasons why you should avoid every single one of the cars I just told you about. Of course, if you disagree with some of the things I've said, that's perfectly fine. You can just let me know in the comment section below. Just remember, I'm trying to steer you away from making a bad choice. Besides, if you're going to give some car maker your hard-earned cash, wouldn't you rather get as competitive a product as possible in return? I know I would.